You never know where life will take you. It can be hilarious, entertaining, surprising, or even terrifying. Join your hosts, Mike and Courtney, for real life adventures with Eaton on the Go. Life at the Island Podcast.
Hey, welcome. We're not at the island today.
We are not at the island today. We are in the Birchroom, the very exclusive Birchroom.
Yes.
So exclusive, we can't tell you where we are.
No, just a
hidden
disclosed place. But we do know this. One thing we know for sure is that we have Walter over here as our guest. You notice Walter? He is our guest on the show today. We have Cinnamon. And, of course, Tim. Now, people, if you've watched the show before, you know who Tim is.
Or listened.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got to find the camera.
I have to say hello to my followers.
Yeah. All my peeps out there.
And Walter's trying to figure out when it's his turn to talk, so we're going to...
Walter, do you have anything to say?
Woof.
For those that are just listening, we have a golden doodle sitting at the bar with us, and he has his headphones on, his St. Patty Day garb. And he's just waiting for his chance to say something really cool.
So. Waiting for his 10 seconds of fame.
We have a lot of stuff to go over today.
We do.
Our perp of the week. Let's go to the perp of the week, and then we'll do our drink of the week. And we'll come back to it. So, one of my favorite parts of the show is the perp of the week. And this week, earlier this month, a Justin Thompson. He's 29 years old, and he decided that he was going to be on the run from the law. Okay, so he decides, this is in Pennsylvania. There was a warrant out for his arrest for aggravated assault and harassment charges stemming from an incident in September. So when officers showed up to search his 26-year-old girlfriend's house, Thompson hid in a crawl space. Now, I'm familiar with that. That happens quite often, or an attic or whatever. Well, he hid in the crawl space and apparently doing his best impression of the John McClane in Die Hard. But unfortunately, the crawl space couldn't support his weight. Now they're saying it's an attic, but in the report they referred to it as a crawl space, but it's actually the crawl space in the attic. Couldn't support his weight. Thompson crashed through the ceiling.
It was actually the air vent, the HVAC vent.
And he landed in the kitchen right in front of the cops.
Nice.
Who were looking for him.
That's easy.
And of course, then they tacked on the charge of endangering children because he almost landed on some kids nearby.
Oh,
so
wow.
The cops are like, well, he's not here, everybody. Let's get out of here.
You know, I have to tell you, that reminds me of a story. This is real quick, but a story that when we were searching for somebody that broke into a school, and we searched all over the school. We knew he was in there, and it's kind of nerve-wracking when you're searching for a suspect and you don't know where they are. You don't know if they're armed. You know nothing about them.
Exactly.
And we were standing on the stage of the school auditorium. And we're looking, and we're standing there, and I'm talking to a couple other cops, and all of a sudden I look back, and I see two shoes underneath the curtain that's in the corner. And of course, that was the bad guy. Yeah, funny. It's like, okay, come on.
Did you nab him?
We nabbed the perp.
Yeah,
got the perps.
He went downtown. So the Birchroom is this super cool place that Tim and not Renee. They own this, and of course, our friend Cinnamon is here. And you know, I was thinking, Cinnamon, this would be really cool if you were like a detective. And you had a partner named Spice.
Would you believe I have never heard that before?
You haven't?
Never.
Or sugar.
Or sugar.
Cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'd be like crime-fighting duo.
That's right. Like Thelma and Louise.
I'm sorry. I just had to throw that in there.
No, you're fine.
That's her real name.
I know, it is.
We need to give a quick shout out to Tom and Mr. Penguin.
Yes.
And Mr. Penguin.
Tom's over in Germany.
Yes.
Thank you for your service,
yes,
Tom.
Serving in the military. We appreciate his service and wish he was here to join us.
Absolutely.
But sitting in his place tonight is Walter. So
yes.
You might be a little better looking.
Oh.
We'll have to edit that part out so Tom does not hear it. All right, so the best part of the Birchroom is the drink of the week.
The drink of the week.
All right, so what is it, Tim?
Well, we decided to do the drink of the week as the Birchroom signature cocktail. It's a take of the South Side, but this actually has some egg white in it. So We came up with it a few years ago, and it's a hard drink to make. It's not your your beginner's drink necessarily. So I might even
you
screw
are
this
no
up.
beginner bartender.
But yeah, let's try this out.
All right. Looking forward to it.
So the first thing I do, this has gin, mint, egg white, sugar, and lemon juice. So the first thing I do is crack an egg white in case I screw that up. You're not messing everything up in the shaker with all the good spirits in there. That's close, isn't it? So let's do that.
Yeah, sorry, my mic stands right in your way.
No, you're all good. Just got to get that right.
He's cracking an egg.
Cracking an egg. Getting the egg white in there. It's a fresh, organic egg, free range.
Ooh, delicious.
Throw that away real quick.
It's got a brown shell,
All right, I'm kind of anxious
in case anyone was wondering.
to see how this turns out.
It's going to be delicious.
I know.
They're pretty good. Simple syrup, which is, again, 50% sugar, 50% water. Cooked on the stove for a little bit.
Yeah, you make that from scratch, right?
Make that from scratch.
You make all your simple syrups.
So about
from
3/4 of
scratch,
an ounce of simple syrup on that.
Right? Did you ever finish
that?
that rhubarb simple syrup?
No.
No.
That was a lot.
It was
But
good, though.
We had a couple more drinks of it. Gin, I like to use Prairie Organic. It's made here in Illinois.
Oh, nice.
Prairie gin's good. So 2 ounces of a nice gin. Let's be
Ooh,
a
I
little,
like the sound
little
effects.
generous.
Yes. It never hurts to
more
have a little
generous.
extra.
A little generous.
Little
generous.
Gin.
Ooh.
No pun intended.
I see what you're doing there. Okay.
And then fresh lime. Half of a lime.
He's squeezing that in.
Squeezing the lime in.
Nice. I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah.
Oh, he's making you a drink.
And then we
You are
have
in
to
luck.
whip up the egg white.
Oh, he's using
So
one of those.
I'm using what do you call this?
a latte whipper.
A latte whipper.
I don't know.
You can do what they call a dry shake too, where you actually shake it in the shaker without ice. They call
Okay.
that a dry shake to
Oh.
get the egg white going.
So if there's not ice in it, it's called a dry shake.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like one of those tools that you would use to like
It's
froth the milk.
It's
Right.
a frother. It's a
Frother,
hand
there you
flop.
go.
I can't even say it.
Could I
Hand
use my
frother.
cordless drill
Do a
if I
little
needed
bit.
to?
I suppose if we got
Yeah.
a frother attachment
With
for
a
it,
drill bit on the end.
Might not be.
that'd really froth it up.
It would.
You want to do about an ounce of lemon juice in this one, so I'm going to put a little
So it's
bit.
got lime and lemon.
I'm sorry, lime.
Lime, more lime. Okay.
Ounce of lime juice in that. And then the star of the show is mint. So I use probably about
Ooh.
8 leaves roughly of mint.
So last time Tim was here, we
That's
had
right.
Tim
we
on the
made
show. We had a
mojitos
mint
with
drink then too,
Yeah. Everybody's going to think I make everything with mint.
in honor of Mr. Mojito,
Oh, yeah. Mr. Mojito.
not Renee's favorite man after Tim and her dad, and maybe her kids.
Yeah, wait a
I don't
minute.
know, and Walter.
And Walt, yeah. They
Did I cover it? Did I cover it?
I'm going to shake her up.
Oh yeah.
Got to shake it a little extra for the
Extra
egg
shake.
white.
Oh, yes. Okay. Got to work that
He's
out.
getting his workout.
Yeah.
You'll see him sweating here soon.
So in a minute, we're going to talk about the Birchroom and
And why?
a little bit of stuff behind the Birchroom, why it's called that, and
We'll give you a visual of what
Yeah.
it's like to be in the Birchroom.
yeah, it's pretty cool. There are some. It's a cool decor down here. All right.
So then I'm going to strain it out with an extra fine strainer so the mint bits don't get in there.
Don't want mint bits in
It
your
don't-
drink.
Gets
Yeah.
in your teeth and
It's got a green hue to it, kind of, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit
Yes, it
because of the
does.
mint.
It's a good Patty's Day drink.
Then,
Oh, watch this. He's gonna get real fancy now.
Not Renee made this nice little template for me
yeah.
that says BR for Birchroom.
Oh my goodness, things are getting real
I
here.
put that on top.
That's by the way, that's not Renee.
Not, did I say? Did I
I
say
didn't
the
turn
other
on
word?
your sound effects.
You had to turn
gotcha,
your sound effects
gotcha.
on for you.
You don't have headphones on, so you don't have the,
Right,
you don't
got it.
get to see.
So then I have Angostura bitters and a mister.
Oh, okay.
We need
And
to
then
get
I
a
just-
picture of that so we can post it.
Oh, I know. No doubt.
It's super
Mist.
and now the unveiling.
cool. The unveiling. Oh,
Oh, very cool.
perfect.
That is.
And here we have the Birchroom signature cocktail.
So for those listening, it's a egg white
The froth, yeah.
froth on the top with a BR
Courtney, I'll give
logo.
you the honors.
Ooh, I get them.
Very cool.
Here, I'll take a sip, and then you can take a sip, and you can look at it.
Are we sharing drinks now?
And you can look at it.
Did you see the look of horror on your face?
Let's
does
all
not wanna
share a drink
the
tonight.
love. Ooh, that's delicious. Thank you. Wow. So Tim, tell us, how did you and
That's
Renee, not Renee, come
Not
up
Renee.
with the name the Birchroom for this
Well,
fine establishment?
when we decided to finish the basement, I think it was Renee's idea, actually. She found a mural of birch trees. It was a birch tree forest, so we almost got a divorce over it, I think. But we hung this big mural up in several strips around the corner at the other end of the basement, and it's cool. It's a birch tree forest. And one of our friends came over and said, "Well, this is going to be the Birchroom then." You know, so
Who
it
would have
just
thought,
it just
right?
kind of
It just
stuck.
kind of happened.
Yep, it's going to happen.
Well,
Yep.
interesting.
And you
So we
even have it
finished
in
the
the bar
basement then.
here. Well, you can't tell because we have it covered up with stuff, but
It says the Birchroom
I
on the
know,
bar.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Well, a birchwood is a tree, obviously.
Right.
I think we
Yes.
know that. But the leaves of the tree contain a lot of vitamin C and are used to make medicine.
Really?
They are.
Fascinating.
Birch is used for infections of the urinary tract,
Okay.
kidney,
always good
bladder,
to
and
know.
it's also used as a diuretic. You can also use it. I know.
If you're retaining water.
Exactly.
that's right.
So, yeah, it can also be used to treat arthritis, achy joints, skin rashes, and hair loss.
Ooh.
Hair
You may
loss?
need to go. Yeah,
There's hope.
Right?
There's hope for
I
me
know.
yet.
You may need to go lick a tree.
Or just stay in the Birchroom for a while.
If you see Mike
I
out
know.
there licking birch leaves,
Yeah.
we know he's trying
Or
to grow
eating
some
it.
hair.
I could use some help myself on that.
That's interesting.
It is
So
interesting.
here's a question, Cinnamon. What comes to mind when you think of the Birchroom? As you've been here before,
Well,
what comes to mind?
I've only been here once or twice, so
I'm throwing the flag on that one.
yeah. I just think good craft cocktails, warm hosts,
Yeah.
good friends.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, he does do a good job behind the bar.
He does. It's definitely his passion.
We just want a cozy place to hang out in the winter because you know what? When you live in Illinois, it's a little depressing sometimes.
You bet.
You need
In
a
the-
good
in the
place
dead
to
of the winter.
gather.
So you need a cozy, comfy place to hang out with good drinks and good friends.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers,
I like
guys.
it.
Cheers.
I'm gonna drink
Can our
this one.
glasses
Yeah.
still touch?
No.
Cheers. Yeah, they have to. It's
They cannot.
yeah. We have our
No
Corona
touch.
fears. We have to be careful.
We do have to be
Yeah, be
careful. So, who's on your walls, Tim? Mostly.
Like everywhere?
Kind of.
We actually like the old Hollywood black and whites. So that's our thing, our decor. So we have Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, James Mansfield, Sophia Loren, Marilyn Monroe, Ava Gardner, a lot of the old Hollywood celebrities. That's kind of our decor.
From like the 40s and 50s, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Now
Yeah,
I noticed some new artwork
Right.
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I did
you see
too.
the new one in the
I
bathroom?
did too.
Amy Winehouse is
Amy
in the
Winehouse.
bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did notice.
It's
Look
a
at
great.
that.
It's a great piece.
So I was looking because you like Frank Sinatra, right? So I was
Yes.
looking up some facts on Frank Sinatra, and his favorite cocktail was a mix of 4 ice cubes, 2 fingers of Jack Daniel's whiskey, and a splash of
That's
water.
exactly right. That's what that picture right
Yeah.
there is all about.
This is a gentleman's drink, he once said. So
Have
It's
you
the
ever had
nectar
one?
of the gods.
Yeah.
Have you had that before?
not that exact.
Well, I think you
We
should.
probably should.
Yes.
Maybe we'll
Jack
have to-
Daniels loved Frank Sinatra because he wasn't being paid to
Yeah.
drink it or anything. That was his drink. He called it Nectar of the Gods. Of course, back then in the 50s and 60s, it was a little different than it is today. But yeah, he had it. He always demanded a brand new bottle after every show.
Oh, wow.
The servers would hand him a brand new bottle, his own ice bucket, which is shown right there in that picture.
Yeah, that's a cool photo, which we'll throw it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I have
It is a good
to
photo.
show that, but yeah, he loved his Jack Daniels, and his other famous saying was, "I feel sorry for people who don't drink, because in the morning is the best they'll feel all day."
That's fantastic. So do you
Should have
think
been our pod quote this week.
it should have been? Maybe we'll just make it that.
I know, right?
Let's just leave it at that. Do you think that's why they named that Jack Gentleman's Jack? Is that after Frank?
Could be. Very well. You know, they also made the Sinatra Select.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Love
that's
that.
true.
That's
It's one of my favorites. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mike loves it too. But
Yep.
you know, Jack Daniel's made a whiskey, not bourbon, but a whiskey just for his commemorative 100th birthday.
Yeah.
And they still make it, actually. That would have been 2015 they came out with it because he was born in 1915. So, and you can't find it just everywhere, but they have it out there, and it's delicious. They definitely make it a lot different than their regular Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it is good.
So if anybody sees it out there, try it.
So one of my favorite things about the Birchroom is the new edition of the Cigar Lounge. That is my favorite. So for those that are joining us, there is not only the bar here that Tim makes great drinks, but then there is a lounge that you can go and smoke a cigar.
Does it have a name?
I have a very understanding wife.
Well, yes.
Not Renee.
Not Renee.
Does not love the cigar room.
Well, yeah, it's not a big fan of it. But, you know, 95% of the time, it's just a nice sitting area.
Yeah.
Just another room.
Does
But
it?
Once in a while.
Does it have a name?
It doesn't.
Okay. Well.
Ooh, we're going to have to
We'll
work
have
on
to-
that.
We'll have to
we'll
come up
figure
with
something.
Just the cigar room is all we got.
Maybe that's all it needs.
That's right.
Cigars are known to reduce stress, and some psychiatrists recommend them to patients for this
Amen.
reason. Michael,
You know, the
Michael
oldest-
attests to that.
Yeah, I can.
The oldest man in America, I think he did just pass away, but he smoked numerous cigars a day. He was 112 years old, and he said it just gave him something to look forward to every day.
The
Not
secret
that,
of
you know,
longevity.
Right.
we're saying that it's healthy
Whiskey
or
and
anything,
cigars.
but
Actually, Mark Twain. Did you know he smoked 22 cigars a day?
gee whiz.
Did.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
How long did
That is a lot.
how old
I
how
don't
old
know.
was he
We
when
were
he
talking
died?
about that. I'm like, I wonder how old he was when he died, Samuel Clemens, and what he died of.
Well,
He got
who's that?
his name's Samuel Clemens.
Oh, okay.
His pen name is Mark Twain.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
His wife, when he married her, Olivia, he promised he would quit, and he stopped smoking for a year, and he couldn't write.
Really?
So he claims that cigars are good for your
Thinking?
imagination.
You know what? I will tell you this. Cigars, and Courtney can attest to this. You know, on a stressful day, you know, whatever, I can
Absolutely.
smoke a cigar and it will relax me. I mean, like, stress is gone.
Right.
And I think it's because for the most time, you know, you smoke a cigar and it takes a while. So you're forced to sit and relax. That's not something that you're going to go out and hot box
Very
a cigarette.
relaxing. Yeah.
It's like there's a ritual to it. You sit
Yes.
down, and usually it's with other friends who enjoy them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So it's a legit way to relax.
To chill while you're drinking whiskey, which they say has health benefits.
We
It
have all kinds
definitely
of
prolongs your-
information.
Let's face it, everybody. Smoking cigars and drinking whiskey prolongs your life, okay?
They say drinking whiskey
Cheers.
can prevent cancer, reduce chances of a stroke, which I'm not quite sure how, and reduces the possibilities of heart disease. So that's kind of seems like a contradiction to
I
me.
think it's
but
all about reducing stress.
I don't know who they are.
It's
Who are
just
they?
taking that
Yeah.
time out of the day and relaxing and just, you know, and just enjoying yourself.
And 1 to 6 glasses of whiskey over a week can lower an adult's risk of dementia.
Wow.
See,
I hope I
Yeah.
can remember
whenever
that
I
statistic.
whenever I drink whiskey, I tend to
Better
know
start
what's
drinking
going
some more
on.
whiskey.
right?
Well, I also read that there's polyphenols in whiskey, just like in wine, because of the oak barrel has polyphenols in it, which is a anti-cancer.
Okay,
you
well,
know.
that may be why.
Yeah.
Interesting. Whiskey's the official state beverage of Alabama,
Of Alabama?
apparently. They said so.
I thought it was, what about Kentucky?
True.
Yeah, you would think Kentucky.
Maybe Alabama took it first.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
You know, Peoria was the whiskey capital of the world
Yeah.
from like 1890s to 1929 or something like that. Then Prohibition just killed
Ruined
it.
everything.
Fun
Yeah.
fact.
But they were huge, yeah.
Tom's grandfather worked for Hiram Walker.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, no kidding.
My grandfather worked at
That's
the
awesome.
American Distillery in Pekin. My mom worked there for
Yeah.
a while. My uncle worked there. Yeah, my grandpa worked there his entire life at the American Distillery.
The
Yeah.
houses on Grandview Drive are referred to as the Whiskey Baron houses. That's where all the whiskey barons lived.
Oh, no kidding.
No kidding.
And
Oh, I
on
didn't know
Moss
that.
Those are
Avenue
nice
too, I
houses,
think
too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did
that
not know
Where they
that.
could look down and see their rick houses and make sure everything was okay. It is cool.
Is cool.
There was a whiskey tour, right? Not Renee, that you went on.
A whiskey
pretty
tour
I wish,
in Peoria.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wish
really?
I was working probably, but it was very interesting.
So for those that are
According to
listening,
Renee.
the Birchroom is in the town of Tremont, Illinois. We live in a town called Pekin, Illinois, and then we are close to Peoria.
It's right across the river.
Yeah.
About
So
11
Peoria,
miles.
Illinois is like right in the heart of Illinois.
Yeah.
So for those that
We're like
aren't
little
familiar.
suburbs
Yeah.
of Peoria.
We are little suburbs of Peoria. All right, so how we doing?
We're doing great. I'm loving my drink. And
Yeah, let's,
what is your favorite?
Keep going with fun facts. I love fun facts.
fun facts.
So
are
much
fun.
fun.
What is your favorite drink to make? I know I'm putting you on the spot there.
Ooh, that is a
Gosh,
good
they're all-
Maybe
they're
not
they're all
like the
fun.
absolute number one favorite, but what is one of your favorites that you like to make? People?
Well, to be honest, the least favorite ones are the ones that do require mint or basil or herbs
Sure.
because it makes a mess in the shakers. You got to clean them out
lot of
every
extra
single
work.
time and filter them out. When you make it. But I don't know. I have an espresso machine. I love making espresso martinis. Those
are
are
good. Yeah,
when my
very
mom and
good.
dad come over, my dad loves. He's a huge coffee drinker. He drinks it all day long. And he'll say, "Give me one of them espresso martinis," So he'll drink one of them, and then next thing you know, he's drinking just espresso after that.
And then he sleeps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it doesn't phase him at all. If I did that, I would be up for 3 days.
I know,
straight.
me too.
Do you have a decaf option?
Yes, I do have. Right now, I have just a regular, but yeah,
In case
I
you don't want
normally
to
do.
drink your espresso martini at
Because
8 a.m.
not Renee loves them too, but she doesn't want to drink the regular espresso. So yeah. So those are fun to make. I love to make margaritas. Are fun.
Yeah.
Just anything that is you don't really have to use herbs because
Yeah.
it makes kind of a mess. But the herbs that you use to make cocktails are actually a better cocktail.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
makes them crafty.
it just gives it that fresh, like a summer day.
Yeah.
Just
No.
that flavor.
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
In the summer, you grow your own herbs.
Yes, that's
So
true.
They're
His cocktail
organic and
herbs.
Even
fresh.
Yeah.
fresh.
Mint's
yeah.
a weed, basically. I mean, you can't kill that stuff.
No.
So we learned how to grow them in pots instead of throwing them in the garden because
Yeah.
the whole garden
mint
is taken
garden.
over by mint. So we do rosemary and basil and mint in pots out in the patio. So
Perfect.
Well, that's a good idea.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite drink in the Birchroom, Cinnamon?
I just like a good old fashioned vodka tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I thought you were going to say an old fashioned.
Old
That's one-
fashioned vodka tonic.
Okay, all right. Old fashioned is one of my.
I know what your favorite
drinks.
drink is.
Yeah.
What's the one that he makes?
First time I came here, you made me an old fashioned.
What's the one he makes you with that bourbon on top? Like your
with
take on the
smoked-
penicillin or
the
something?
smoked scotch. That's a penicillin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
is-
That's good.
It's kind of like there's a cocktail called the penicillin, and I don't always. Well, actually, most of the time, I do not have ginger syrup because you actually have to take fresh ginger,
Yeah.
juice it in your juicer, then steep it in a simple syrup. I mean, there's a lot to that, but to make a penicillin, it does require that. And then also with lemon juice and your bourbon, and you basically are making a whiskey sour only with the ginger syrup in there and an egg white. Okay, so then when it's all frothed up with the ginger simple syrup, then you drizzle a very, very smoky, peaty scotch on top.
Yeah, it's good.
And they are, and then your garnish is a candied ginger.
Yeah.
So those are really good. But since I don't always have the ginger syrup, I'll make Mike one the same way, just with regular simple syrup, and I think you still like them.
Oh, I do. I do.
So it's
We
I
like the Birchroom's take on the penicillin.
I do, and that's what's good about coming down here. And when you find somebody that makes good drinks, and they're not just throwing some stuff in a cup and saying here you go, that's worth something. I love that. And sometimes there will be a lot of people down here, and you're just like working up a storm, making everybody custom
sometimes
drinks.
it gets
and-
to be a little bit of work, but
Yeah.
I still enjoy it.
The Birchroom even has a menu.
yes.
The Birchroom does have a menu.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is pretty impressive. Now, let me ask you this. Totally going to put you on the spot on this question. But when you go to a bar or you go to get a drink somewhere, is there something, as somebody who knows how to make drinks well, and that's your hobby, but it's also something that you really love, is there one thing that you see that that bothers you, irritates you, not necessarily in a bad way, but just in the sense of the art of making a drink?
Well, I never think that the bartender doesn't really know what he's doing, because I'm not a bartender and they are. So they're,
Sure.
in my opinion, they should be the professionals, so I would never want to say, hey, But yeah, there's bars where they're super busy and there's no way they can make a quality cocktail. They're just throwing Coke and rum and and just those are those kinds of bars. But then when you go to a really nice bar and you're paying $12, $15 a cocktail, yeah, I mean, you're watching them. And most of the time I learn something from them, because a lot of these cocktails I watch and learn and talk about, just like Mr. Mojito down in Key West, the same thing.
Yeah.
So we watch them, and that's fun, as part of your entertainment.
Yeah, it is.
But to answer your question, it's probably the other bars that, just make them so fast that it's just that type of bar. They're just pumping out massive drinks for $5 a piece. So they're just not doing the quality, and they're just using mixes, instead of fresh ingredients. So that's my biggest pet peeve.
Well,
you don't want a margarita with a mix. You want fresh lime, fresh, I put a little bit of agave nectar in there, and fresh, good, Blanco tequila, blue agave. So that's what makes a good margarita.
It is. It is. A couple other interesting facts that, and maybe you knew this, but Maker's Mark is the oldest bourbon distillery in the world.
Is it?
Yeah, Maker's
We
is.
were there.
And then Jack
Renee actually
Daniels.
dipped the wax. She got to dip
yeah, you can do that.
the
Which is
red
super
the
cool.
red wax. We
Yeah.
got the bottle over there.
And
was
then
fun.
Jack Daniels is actually the oldest registered distillery in
Really?
in America.
No kidding.
So it's kind of
We've been there
interesting.
too, Jack Daniels. In fact, another little fun fact, or story, I guess. Not Renee and I were in Jack Daniels, which is in Lynchburg, Tennessee, which is a dry town. You can't drink in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Yeah, which is so interesting.
Right. But they have a huge, distillery there.
So you're telling me they don't taste their product?
Right, right. But we were on a tour, and Renee and I were up front, right behind the tour guide, and the tour guide looked like Uncle
Can you
Jesse.
do you do tastings?
Yeah, you can do tasting. Right, we
So
did,
they're
right?
exempt from
Yeah.
the dry.
But anyway, he looked like Uncle Jesse on the Dukes of Hazzard's, white hair, white beard, suspenders and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool guy. And he even said, if you look hard enough, I'm in a lot of the commercials, which since then we've seen them.
Oh,
But
okay.
we were on a tour, and Renee and I were right behind him, and he turns around and he goes, so where are you guys from? And well, we said, Central Illinois, we don't say Pekin or Tremont or Peoria. Well, most people know Peoria. But anyway, he goes, well, that's interesting. What part of Central Illinois? And we're like, well, little town called Pekin, and you probably never heard of it. And he just kind of turned back around and just kept walking on his tour. And about 15 minutes later, he turns around and he goes, I used to work in Pekin.
Oh, no
I'm like,
kidding.
You're kidding me. He
Where
worked
do-
at PAL,
Oh, you're kidding.
the Batiatry Arts Lab, if I said that right.
health
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah, he worked there. I'm like, really? Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
And then
and-
he was just on the tour. No,
He was the
worked-
tour guide.
Oh, okay.
He worked there. Yeah.
What a great job change.
Right. Yeah, so-
Yes.
But I couldn't. But I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, that was very interesting.
All right. Well, we're about out of time.
We are about out of time.
Already?
Yeah.
I know. What's our pod quote this week?
Well, so Tim, I think, trumped my pod quote.
True.
Like, it was a good one. So
That
I'm
was
gonna
good.
let
Save
him-
it for
Oh,
later.
the
Yeah.
Sinatra?
Yeah, it's a good quote. But I am going to leave you with one quick story about Frank Sinatra. So when he was buried, he wanted to be buried with a few things.
Mm-hmm.
So he was buried with bourbon, cigarettes, a roll of dimes to call his friends and family in heaven, a dog treat to feed any pups he finds up there, and his favorite candy, which was Tootsie Rolls.
Really?
Wow.
I
That's
knew he
cool.
was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I didn't know all the other.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Well, we're out of time, but if you're okay with it, we'll roll a little bonus feature for those that are on YouTube. If you will make
Yeah.
us another drink,
He can make your penicillin.
ooh, that would be great. But
Another hard one to make.
We can do that.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Cinnamon, for being on the show with us today.
Thanks for having
And
me.
Walter, wherever you went, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and send us an email. Eating on the go
Oh my God.
at gmail.com.
Seriously, every time. Eaten on the go.
What did he say? At the
Eating
go?
on the
go.
Eating at the go?
Where are we at going?
All right. Have a good week. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.